Nac ofnwch, caniswele, yr rwy fi yn mynegu i chwi newyddion da o lawenydd mawr, yr hwnna fydd i'r holl bobl. Canis ganwyd i chwi heddiw geidwad yn Ninas Dafydd, yr hwn yw Crist yr arglwydd. A hyn fydd arwydd i chwi, chwi a gewch y dyn bach, wedi ei rwymo mewn cadachau, a'i ddodi yn y preseb. Ac yn ddisymwth, roedd gyda'r angel liaws o lun efol yn moliannu Duw ac yn dywedid, gogoniant yn y goruchaf i ddiw, ac ar y ddaear tangnefedd i ddynion ewyllus da. A bu, pan aeth yr angylion ymaith o ddiwrthynt i'r nef, y bugeiliaid hwythau a ddewidasant wrth ei gilydd, awn hyd Bethlehem, a gwelwn y peth hwn a wnaethpwyd, yr hwn a hysbysodd yr arglwydd i ni. A hwy a ddaethant ar frys, ac a gawsant Mair a Joseph, a'r dyn bach yn gorwedd yn y preseb. A phan welsant, hwy a gyhoeddasant y gair a ddywedasid wrthynt am y bachgen hwn. A phawb ar eglwsant a ryfeddasant am y pethau a ddywedasid gan y bugeiliaid wrthynt. Aeth i'r Mair a gadwodd y pethau hyn oll gan ei hystyried yn ei chalon. A'r bugeiliaid a ddychwelasant gan ogonefu a moliannu Duw am yr holl bethau a glywsent ac a welsent fel y dywedasid wrthynt.
And the reading is from John's Gospel, Tudalen 255, page 255 in the Blue Bibles. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and life was the light of man. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness was not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to bear witness about the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness about the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him. Yet the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. He who was born, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh, and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and full of truth. Amen.
Diolch i Lyn a Rob am y darlleniadau yna. Ac yna ar ôl ein carol nesaf, fe ddaw Gwenllian Joslyn ymlaen i'n harwen ni mewn gweddi. Felly, 4-50 ffefryn gan lawer be ni'n canu y garol fach hon dydd Mercher yn yr oedfa canol wythnos. And I say, I'm sure this is a favourite of many as it brings back, I'm sure, memories of childhood as well. 450, i orwedd mewn preseb, roed crewr y byd, nid oedd ar ei gyfer na gwely na chryd, y ser oedd yn syllu ar dlws faban Mair, yn cysgu yn dawel ar wely o wair. 450.
Amen. Cydweddiwn. Dyw a thad ein harglwydd Iesu, deuwn ynghyd i ddathlu genedigaeth dy fab. Y plentyn bach hwnnw a roedd wedi orwedd mewn preseb, ein harglwydd a'n gwaredwr Iesu Grist. Deuwn gan gofio yn Addoliad cyntaf, gan rifoedd yn ôl, a'r neges a gyhoeddwyd gan yr angylion, newyddion da o lawenydd mawr. Deuwn gan gofio ffydd mair, diolchgarwch y bugeiliaid ac addoliad y doethion. Gwnaethost gymaint o bethau da i ni, ac rydym yn llawen o'r herwydd. We thank you for this time of year, for the special mood of joy and celebration, families and friends coming together, and a spirit of love and goodwill. But we remember also all those who find this time of year difficult for so many reasons. Gweddiwn yn arbennig am y rhai hynny sydd mewn angen yn Adolig hwn. Y rhai hynny heb ein breintiau amlwg ni. Y clawd, y claf, yr unig a'r trist, y digartref, a'r sawl sy'n dioddef oherwydd rhyfel a thrais yn ein byd. Estyn atynt mewn cariad, a rhoeddynt obaith yng nghanol ei hanobaith. Teach us to listen for your voice and look for your presence in all our celebrations this year. To hear your call and respond to your guidance. May we, like Mary, have the faith to believe that with you nothing is impossible. Like the shepherds, to go enthusiastically to Bethlehem and to see and wonder at what you have done. And like the wise men, to offer you our worship and present to you our gifts, our lives for you. Ac felly, boed I ni wedi'r holl ddathliadau ddod I ben, ac yn Adolig fynd heibio, ddychwelyd i'n bywydau benyddiol, yn dy ogoneddu a thyfoli am bopeth a welsom ac a glywsom, gyda'r rhyfeddod dy gariad wedi ei amlygu I ni yng Nghrist Iesu. Y baban bach, anwyd I ni ym Bethlehem gynt. Amen.
Wel, croeso cynnes I bawb yn aelodau a chyfeillion i'n hoedfa bore yma. A very warm welcome to members and friends to our service. A diolch yn fawr i'n gweinidog am ei arweiniad ac I Eiron am ei gyfeiliant wrth yr organ, I Gethin am gynnu'r canwyllau ac I bawb sydd wedi cymryd rhan. Ar ôl yr oedfa, ni'n edrych mlaen I gael cino Nadolig a chymdeithasu mewn ffordd mor ddiogel a phosibl yn y neuaddus law. At the end of the service, we're looking forward to our Christmas lunch and socialising in what we hope is an environment as safe as possible in these strange times. Bydd oedfa hwyrol heno yma am 6 o'r gloch. There'll be an evening service this evening at 6. A dydd Mercher ym hanner dydd, bydd oedfa fer anffurfiol yn ynydd. Ni fydd oedfa fer yma dydd Mercher. Diolch, Rob. There'll be no midweek service here on Wednesday this week or next week. Ar fore dydd Nadolig am 10 o'r gloch bydd oedfa yn y capel. A ni fydd unrhyw oedfaon yma ar dydd Sul Rhagfyr y 6 sef dydd Sul nesaf. So on Christmas Day, there'll be a service here at 10 o'clock, but there'll be no services here next Sunday on Boxing Day. Ac ar Ionawr yr ail, bydd oedfa foreol ma am 10 o'r gloch. Ac yn nawr, fydd ddawn o amgylch I dderbyn eich rhoddion. And now we will come round to receive your gifts. Diolch yn fawr.
Wel, 3 ffeth, nid pregeth sydd â fi nawr, ond 3 ffeth I ychwanegu. I saw Iron coming down and I thought, why is Iron coming down to the piano? And I noticed, fair play, on this sheet it says item plug-in. But there's no item plug-in. We're not going to do that, so fair play. But you've had a bit of exercise now, coming down, and you can go back to the organ. I thought, why is he coming down? But fair play, you read the order of service, but it's not the right order of service. Diolch yn fawr. So, as you make your way back to the organ, fair play, you've had a bit of exercise this morning. Gyda ymddiheuriadau I Eiron. Ond yr ail beth, o'n I di meddwl ar y dechrau I ddiolch I Gethin am gynnu'r ganwyll. Chi ma, war y teg, mae Marian wedi bod yn gwneud gwaith da iawn hyd yn hyn, ond o'n i'n meddwl y bore yma, gaethon ni cynnu arbennig, do fe, o'r ganwyll. Felly diolch Geth a'r teulu oll am ddod yr holl ffordd o Gaerdydd i gynnig Canol. Yn hyfryd. Hyfryd i weld chi. A'r trydydd ffeth yw hyn. Maen nhw'n dweud bod cyffesu yn dda i'r enaid. Ynddo e? Confession is good for the soul. Now, John and Marian weren't sure whether they'd be here this morning, and when I popped over to see them this week, they gave me cards to bring, to give to you, the people in the congregation. Well, you know where the cards are. They are placed strategically by my front door. They're there, safe and sound, to bring this morning. So if you haven't had a card from John and Marian, you know where they are. You're quite welcome to call round and collect them. But if you come this evening at 6 o'clock, you'll be able to have them as well. And if you're here on Christmas morning, you'll have them as well. Ond maen nhw'n saff. Felly pawb wedi cael y gyhoeddiad. Iawn. Felly, gyda'r ychydig na, fe ganwn ni gyda'n gilydd 453, 453, 453. Ac os ych chi yn chwilio am y dôn, nid y dôn sydd uwch ben y garol, ond tôn 298 byddwn ni'n canu i'r garol yma. O ddirgelwch mawr diwioldeb, diwn natur dyn, tad a brenin tragwyddoldeb yn natur dyn. O holl ryfeddodau'r nefoedd, dyma'r mwyaf ei ddymderoedd. Testyn mawl di-derfyn oesoedd, diwn natur dyn. 453. Wel, ni wedi clywed lot o'r ddarlleniadau cyfarwydd y bore yma, yndyn ni? Darlleniadau cyfarwydd yn Addoliad o'r Hen Testament a'r Testament Newydd. Many of the very, very familiar readings this morning from the Old and New Testament, Christmas readings. But I don't want to concentrate on any of those verses this morning, but rather this verse from Hebrews. Again, a familiar verse, I'm sure, to many of you. Dyma'r adnod yn y Gymraeg. Heb ffydd, mae'n amhosib i ryngu bodd Duw, neu i blesio Duw yn y cyfieithiad newydd. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. A wedyn ni bod y geiriau'r testun y bore yma, maen nhw'n awgrymog iawn, ond nhw. Maen nhw'n awgrymu taw gyda ffydd mae'n bosib i blesio Duw. For the Christian, I'd say that to please God is a sure way of making yourself happy and pleased as well. Yeah? And one important question arises then at the outset. How, therefore, can I please God? Heb ffydd mae'n amhosib I blesio Duw. Cystal a dweud hynny yw, gallwch wneud y pethau gorau yn y byd. Gallwch gwneud nhw gyda'r amcanion gorau yn y byd. Gallwch fyw bywyd uniawn a chyfiawn, llawn o'r unweddau Cristnogol, os maen nhw chi. Ond heb ffydd tu ôl iddyn nhw, yn ôl yr adnod, maen nhw'n ddiwerth, maen nhw'n gwerth dim byd. Even in living the most pious and godly life possible, striving for everything that is lovely and of good repute, remember the list of things? Yet none of these things will please God unless they're mixed in with an element of faith. We have to have faith. So all our kindly actions and good works, I'd say, must be intertwined with faith as well. Or else, without faith, according to this verse, it's impossible to please God. Pan o'n i'n aelod o'r debating society yn yr ysgol yn Tregwyr, yn Gawerton, oedd yr athro clasuron fe, oedd yn hyfforddi ni fel tîm, y debating team, ac oedd e'n bob amser yn pwysleisio'r tri pheth mawr. Mae rhaid I chi gael cyflwyniad neu ragarweiniad I ddechrau. Yna mae rhaid I chi gyflwyno a ddadl I hun, ac oedd e'n hoff iawn, wedodd e yn drydydd, I adael cwestiwn ar y diwedd. Adael e'n ben agored mwyn I bobl I ateb y cwestiwn dros dyn nhw I hunain. That's how he liked to finish the debate. An exposition to begin with, an argument, and then he said, leave a question at the end. And that's what I've got for you this morning. The exposition, a brief look at faith, a very brief look, because dear me, what a subject. The argument will be that without faith, it's impossible to please God. And finally, I'll ask the question, do you possess this faith to please God? Felly'n gyntaf, beth yw'r cyflwyniad yma? What is faith, dear me? Fel yn gweud, taswn ni'n pregethu milodd o bregethau rhwng nawr a dydd a farn, o ddim credu allai ateb y cwestiwn yn gyflawn, neu'n gywir I chi y bore yma. The old Puritan writers, they tell you that faith is made up of three basic things. Knowledge, you have to know something to have faith in it. Then acceptance, you have to believe in that. And finally, the trust or reliance on that thing, whatever it is, the knowledge. Felly, gwybodaeth yw'r peth cyntaf, nodir, ys dim modd I unrhyw un os meddwl amdano fe am eiliad, ys dim modd I unrhyw un I gredu yn yr hyn nad yw'n gwybod amdano fe, neu nad yw wedi clywed amdano fe. If I've never heard of something in my life and know nothing about it, well, it goes without saying, how can I believe? How can I believe in that if I've never heard of it or know anything about it? Chimod, mae'n loes calon I mi I feddwl nad yw'r Beibl yn cael I ddysgu digon a chymaint a beth oedd yn ein hysgolion Sul, heb sôn am yn ein hysgolion dyddiol ni. Ond efe plant yn cael I trwytho yn yr ysgrythurau, fel o ni yn goffod dysgu falle pennod cyfan ar ein cof. Mae'n rhaid bod elfen o wybodaeth I wybod y pethau yma, cyn y daw ffydd wedyn i'r amlwg. Search the scriptures, we read in John's Gospel, and it is they which testify about Christ. Ac wrth reswm wrth I ni ymchwilio a darllen fe ddaw gwybodaeth wedyn ni, a thrwy gwybodaeth fe ddaw ffydd, a thrwy ffydd fe ddaw iachawdwriaeth. But again, a person may know a thing, but still have no faith. I may know of something and still perhaps not believe in it. And this is where, of course, we arrive at the point where we must accept certain things, perhaps without even understanding them. We must accept them or reject them, as the case may be, and believe in the knowledge which is given us through the Scriptures, through the Old Testament and the New, about the truth of God and Jesus. Ac mwyn cael ffydd, wrth gwrs, mae'n rhaid I ni, nid yn unig I ddarllen yr ysgrythurau a cheisio deall nhw, nid ein bod ni'n deall popeth wrth reswm, ond mae'n rhaid I ni I derbyn nhw. A dwi'n meddwl yn aml, mae'r derbyn yna yn anoddach na'i deall nhw weithiau. Yn enwedig pan mae bywyd yn gallu taflu pethau erchyll atom ni yn aml, ond yw e? And yet again, a person may have all of this and still not possess true faith, because the crux of the matter, of course, comes in this third bit. The trust or reliance on the knowledge. If we don't trust and rely on that knowledge, the best way, I'd say, of describing it is of leaning on the knowledge. Lean on the arms of Jesus. O rod y bwys ar freichiau'r Iesu, beth gynnal ymlaen, beth gynnal ymlaen. The essence of this faith is trusting in the promises of Jesus. Dwi'n rhoi'r eglureb yn aml, o'n gweld rai o gyfeillion Caerdydd yn y cefn, fi'n siŵr bod un o'n nhw wedi clywed fi'n rhoi'r eglureb yma o flan. Person yn defnyddio hand glider, chi'n modd yr hand gliders yma, a mae'n rhyfeddu fi, maen nhw'n bodlon taflu I hunan off ben mynydd neu clogwyn, yn y sicrwydd bod yr awyr anweledig. Maen nhw'n gwybod bod yr awyr a'r handglider mynd I ddal nhw I fyny. Maen nhw'n ffili gweld yr awyr, a maen nhw'n credu ynddo fe. Yeah. Do you have this faith? Because these words say without faith, it's impossible to please God. Felly at y ddadl, heb ffydd mae'n amhosib I blesio. So the argument set before us this morning, after that exposition, is that it's impossible to please God without faith. So I conclude from that statement that there has never been a man or a woman throughout the whole of history who did please God without faith. Chymod, mae'r benod fawr honno yn seiliedig ar ffydd. Mae'r adnod mae'n dod ohono fe yn Hebreaid. Mae'n restr hirfaith, yn diw e, arbennig iawn o'r bobl yna blesiodd Dyw. Gwrandewch ar rai ohonyn nhw. Eto bore yma, by faith, Noah built an ark. By faith, Abraham went out not knowing where he was going. By faith, Sarah bore Isaac. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob. Trwy ffydd y syrthiodd muriau Jericho. Trwy ffydd arbedodd y bytain Rahab. Chi'n gofio buon ni'n sôn am Rahab mewn pregeth o blaen. And what more shall I say? And these aren't my words, but Paul's words. When he says, time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, of David and Samuel and all the prophets. Think of the Gideon Bibles that are here today in our time. That's a miracle. Yeah, that's faith. Ond mae yna ddadl arall wrth reswm, mae angen ffydd arnom, achos mae'n dweud wrthon ni'n ddigon plaen yn yr ysgrythurau bod ein gweithredoedd ni ddim yn ddigonol yn ei hunain. Ein gweithredoedd, as mentioned earlier, you may do as many good works as you please, but you must have to put your trust and faith in Jesus Christ. Ac un pwynt arall I ddadle'r achos cyn symud ymlaen at y pwynt ola. Heb ffydd, mae'n amhosib I blesio Dyw, achos mae'n amhosib I ddyfal barhau heb ffydd hefyd. It's impossible to persevere in God's work without faith. We have to have an element of faith. Chymod, mae yna ddigonedd o fair weather Christians I gael, ond os, ym mhob oes a chyfnod, sydd yma am ychydig o amser, falle. The lukewarm Christians, as we read of the members of the church at Laodicea. If a person doesn't believe in God or Jesus, fair enough, that's their prerogative. I'd say the only thing to be wary of is to claim to be a Christian and a follower of Jesus and then not to persevere in the work. Felly at y cwestiwn I orffen, gadael y cwestiwn gyda chi y bore yma. A'r cwestiwn holl bwysig yn wir am hwnni, the vital question in conclusion. Do you possess this faith? Is this faith with you? Do you have it? And perhaps I can help a little to answer the question by giving 3 kind of litmus tests. Remember the old litmus test in school? Yeah. Whoever has faith has renounced trust in themselves and put all their trust in God and Jesus. Dwi'n hoff iawn o stori na John Elias o Fôn, y pregethwr enwog o Fôn. Dwi'n siŵr bod fi wedi gweud y stori yn o blaen. Ond cyn dyddiau'r y 2 bont yn croesi'r afon Menai, oedd yna nifer o gychod bach fel coracles. So before the 2 great bridges were built to go over to Anglesey, there were tens of little coracle boats taking people across the water. And apparently John Elias of Anglesey, John Elias of Fôn, he was on his way back to Anglesey, having preached ar y tir mawr yn Gaernarfon. And he came to one of these little boats, and it was a rickety old boat. I thought, this isn't going to get me to the other side. And apparently one of the sailors there was touting for business in his little coracles. John Elias of Fôn, I'll take you over safely to Anglesey. And apparently the fear was obvious in his face. And the chap said, "You're a man of God," he said. "Don't you have faith that I'll be able to take you over to Anglesey?" He said, "Oh yes," he said, "I have faith in God," he said, "but I have no faith whatsoever in your boat." Yeah? Now, don't put your faith in the wrong things either. Yeah? Whoever has faith has no personal claim either to their good works. Forbid it, Lord, that I should boast, save in the death of Christ my God. Ac yna, mae angen yr un peth ychwanegol yma, yr ufuddod, obedience. Obedience. Whoever has true faith will have true obedience as well. Ac eto dwi'n dyfynnu'n aml yr hen ganon ni gyda Paul yn cyfeilio chydig wythnosau nôl yn y casgliad. Yr hen emyn Saesneg yna, trust and obey. When we walk with the Lord in the light of his word, what a glory he sheds on our way. While we do his good will, yeah, not ours, his good will, he abides with us still and with all who will trust and obey. What he says, we will do. Where he sends, we will go. Never fear, only trust and obey. Trust and obey. For there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Bydde di Dduw ein cynorthwyo ni yn Addoliad hwn a phob dydd arall hefyd, I ymddiried ynddo ac I ufuddhau i'w ewyllus e, a hynny gogoniant i'w enw. Amen. Ac fe ganwn, gyda'n gilydd, I ddyweddu, 462, 462. 462. Odlau tyner engil o'r ffurfafen glir, mwyn firmuron cariad hydlant dros y tir, yn y nef gogoniant hedd I ddynol ryw, ganwyd heddiw geidwad, Crist yr arglwydd yw, 462.
All
Awn ni roi ein gofal nawr i'r arglwydd. Let us commit ourselves to God in prayer. Gollwng ni yn awr o dad nefol o dan dyfendith gyfoethog, a bydde di ras ein harglwydd ni Iesu Grist, a chariad Duw a chymdeithas yr ysbryd glân, i fod gyda ni yr awr hon ac hyd yn oes oesoedd. Amen.